So continue to the last video, we still have several problems that we didn't solve. First is we have to activate player session when a player joined to the server, and the next thing is when a player leave, uh, it will call the remove player session to the GameLift, and the GameLift will see this player session is completely. So let's do it right now. So we're going to make a player controller. The controller. This player controller I will call it GameLift. GameLift task player controller PC. So we're gonna change the game mode. The player controller. We're gonna change the player controller to the GameLift task PC that I just created. So we're gonna do something right here. So actually, you're gonna, for example, we have a begin play. Begin play. So when a player join a server, it will call the begin player. So yeah, so we're gonna do the activate player session at this. So we're going to actually activate player session. Oh, it should be. Oh, I made a mistake. It's called accept player session. So actually, you need a player session ID. So how you get the player session ID? So at this moment, I can create it a game instance. Game instance. I call this game instance to the my game instance, and I'm gonna create a variable called the the player session ID. Okay, and then after we join the map, or where's the map? The map, it should be the entry map level. And before we create a player session, we have to save our player session ID, and then we transfer to the next map. Then we have a variable. We have a player session ID stored. Okay, and then in this entry map, I'm gonna behind the begin play, I'm gonna get game instance. And this variable I call it my game instance. Okay, and then do this. So in the game instance, right here, after the created player session, I'm gonna use this game instance set player session ID, player session ID, set player session ID to the player session ID, and open level. So when we transfer to the next map, so in the player controller, you have to make sure. Oh, wait a second. Let me open that map. So when a player go into, it always call the begin play. So, but when we call the begin play, other player will also have this called. So make sure you have to make a branch test if it's local. It's local player controller. So if it's local player controller, you're gonna create it. Oh no, it's actually get game instance. And the cost to my game instance, and I'm gonna use a variable to store my game instance. The accept player session, it should be the GameLift server. It will run on server, so make sure the accept player session is run on server. So you have to make a custom event, and the replicate it's gonna be run on server and make sure it's reliable. The name I will say accept player session accept player session, and I connect this and make sure we have an input for the player session ID. Okay, and then right after the my game instance, I'm gonna put accept player session. Oh, the name and there's no name, they're the same. So let me do a little bit change. I'll say I'll put the dash server, very normal, and I'm gonna put my player session ID. So it should be my game instance and get the variable player session ID. Okay, so the basic process is before we go into this map, we have already have a value in this player session ID. It will be from right here. So after I created a player session ID to the fleet, I will store my player session ID to my game instance in my game instance. And next time when I transfer when I join this map, and I will call my game instance and get the value player session ID and accept the player session ID, and this event is going to be run on server. Okay, and make sure you print the error message if it goes unsuccess. And now we have to, this is join. This is when we join the server, we're gonna accept my PlayStation ID. So if when we leave this map, we have to remove my PlayStation ID. So it would be the event called end play. So also, I will make a branch to test if it's local this local play controller, because if you call this end play, then other player will also call this one. So so make sure we're gonna we're gonna search remove player session, and this is also run on client. This can be remove player session dash server. Okay, and the replicate is gonna be run on server. And then we're gonna set the input for the player session ID. So right here is local after the if my play controller is the local play controller, I'm gonna do the remove player session dash server. So actually we have to make a variable. The variable I.e. in the string is gonna be string type, and the name is gonna be the player session ID, and make sure the replication is replicated, because we're gonna test right here if it's server. So actually the player session ID, we have to let the server also know the player session ID. So basically the server and my local computer they both must have the value about the player session ID. So in this event, it will check the player session ID in the server. He will get the value from this variable and remove the player session ID by this input right here. So make sure you're gonna print the error message. So we go up. We're gonna store this variable to the input. Okay, so let me go over it. When we have this player session ID stored it on the local, so I'm gonna make a variable that the server will know my game session ID, and then accept player extension is also run on server. So next time if I want to remove my player extension ID, it will actually I'm gonna delete this right here. I'm gonna delete this input because this is run on server and this variable is replicated. So this variable will stored on both server and client. So we can connect. Okay, that's it. And now we can. So this time we're going to upload the Linux server. So we need Linux fleet because Windows is very expensive and the Linux server will save us a lot of money. So yeah, so I will do Linux this time. Now you have to download the cross compiling for Linux. So if you want to build a Linux server, you must have a Clang on your computer. So as my version is 4.25, so I will download this, and I'm gonna install it in my computer. So after you install it, you're gonna go back to your source code and rebuild the build the solution. So I will just right click the UE4 and build it again. So I'll teach how you use Debian, and first you have to go to your Microsoft Store and you're gonna search Debian. It's free and you can just download. And before that, it will says the Windows Web Subsystem for Linux option component is not enabled. So how are we gonna enable the Windows Subsystem for Linux? So we're going to the control panel and you're gonna go to the programs and there is a turn Windows features on or off. You're gonna scroll down and you will find there is Windows subsystem for Linux and you check it and click OK and then you have to restart your computer. So after restart your computer and it'll be like this. So you have to create a new Unix username. I will put my username and then you have to put your password. You have to create your password. And by the way, the password is invisible. So you are now gonna see your password. And it says the password update successfully, and then we should start our first code. It will be sudo apt is app update. And you type your password, and then we do this sudo apt upgrade. And then you need to type the sudo apt apt the open ssh dash server. Oh wait, before this we got to type install. It'll be like this. So the last thing, it will be the most important thing. You have to type the sudo service ssh start, and you're gonna allow access. And it says starting open BSD secure shell server. It means that you're okay to go. So let's open our UE4 project. So this is the last time project. So we go to the Windows and we click the project launcher and we go to device manager. And now we need to add on a list device. So you're gonna search for Linux server. So if there's no Linux server, make sure you download the Unreal for cross-compiling for Linux, and you have to build your solution, build your source code. Yeah, and first we're gonna put the device identifier. I will type my local IP. It would be 127 and dot 0 dot 0 dot 1. And the display name, I will give a name to Linux server. So user, it will be same as your Debian user. For example, my user is this and my password is gonna be only I know the password. So the username and the password, make sure it is same as your dband. And so the user, I will just say tap my user and my password, and we click add. So then we go back to project launcher. You see we have a new list for our launcher, and you go to advanced and the config you're gonna use. We can just use development, all right. And the data build you're gonna choose by the book, and now you can click launch. So actually, if you want to build our Linux server, you must have your SSH is running on your computer. So if you're not sure about your SSH if it's starting on your computer, you can just type it anyway. You can just type sudo service SSH start. So our game is actually the Linux server is actually finished build. But you just say this error. What is this error? It should be the problem of launching the Linux server on Windows. So it's normal because you cannot use Linux server on Windows. So it's normal error. And now we can start to upload our Linux build, and we use the Linux build to make a Linux fleet. And we have to use this. We're gonna use this command. And now we gotta change the build name. The build name I'm going to give for example GameLift, or maybe just test the Linux build. The version I'm gonna give it 1.0, and the build root. And the build root is your dedicated server pace. So you go back to your project files and you go into the saved and stage build. There is a Linux server. The Linux server is the Linux dedicated server. The Windows server is gonna be the Windows dedicated server. So this time we use Linux server, and actually in the Linux server you don't need to you don't need to put any files. And now you can just click the home and copy the paste of this folder, and I'm gonna paste and enter. Okay, so we're creating a Linux plate. So before we had to select the Linux build, and you say you change your name. I'll say my test Linux fleet. Test Linux fleet. I think I should type the wrong on the Linux. This is right. Oh no, that's not right. Okay. And then we scroll down and use the free tier, and okay, then right here it will be the going to your dedicated server, Linux server, and your project name, the binaries, Linux, and should be this file is going to be the binaries file that the fleet will try to launch it. So make sure you copy the paste from your project name in the Linux server and to the Linux, and you copy, but make sure you have to change the slash to the Linux slash, because this is different from Windows. And make sure you copy its name. Okay, and then we also give it same as 20 process, so it will run 20 data server on fleet, because we have 20 process. Now we give 20 game session in an instant, and we give the port range. We normally we give the 777 to 7796, and the second port it will be 21. So I will give the second port is gonna be 22, and the first port we give the protocol a UDP. The second we leave TPC. All right, and the IP range, IP address range, 0.0.0.0 /0. They both are this. and we make sure we click the green check. This is very important. A lot of people they forgot to press the green check to save. And make sure also the launchpad you click the green check. It's very important. And the protection policy, we give the full policy, and we start to initialize our fleet. Okay, so my fleet is ready to go, and then we copy this fleet ID. We go back to our Unreal 4 project, and we're gonna go to this entry map. So there should be okay. So where should I put? I should put the search game session right here. Okay, and then but make sure that if we have a game session in our fleet, because there is no game session in this fleet right now. So I have to check if there's any game session returned. So I will just see this wallet or just the length equal to zero. So if not equals zero, we're gonna use the first one. We're gonna use the first game session and create it the player session. If there's no game session, then we're going to create it the game session. So it would be so it would be created game session, and we have to give it fleet ID. The fleet ID we just copied from the fleet. There you go. And the maximum player session count will be 10. And the name is gonna be test. Okay, that's it. And then we will see if it's successful. Then we will create it the player session. So what will be the resource name right here? It will be the game session it returned. Game session ID. And the player ID, give it a random ID, a random UID. Just copy. And if it's successful, then we join the map, we join the server. We use open level to join the server. Oh, make sure we save the player session ID. We need this. Okay, and the IP we can get from the player session. Okay, then there we go. So we have a branch to check if there's any game session under the fleet. If the game session equal to zero, if there's the length of the where is it? It should be after right here. If the search game session return none of the game session return zero's game session, then we will create a game session. If it has a game session, then we will join the first game session that is searched. So we can start right now. So there's no game session. So the first time if we play, it will create a game session for us. Guys, I forgot one thing because I set my game instance. So make sure you go to the project settings, and you're gonna search the game instance. Then you're gonna choose your game instance. My game instance is my game instance. So you can choose this. And now we're gonna click play. We can only join the activate game. Oh, actually I'll see the problem. Yeah, actually I'll see the problem. It will be the it'll be right here. So I'm gonna be right here because maybe the game session is not activated enough, and then we created the player session. So actually we need a delay. We need delay time. At this maybe delay 5 seconds. Oh no, it's half seconds maybe, because if we just they create a game session, and after the create game session we create a player session, it's really fast. Maybe when we create a player session, maybe the game session is not ready enough, so we have to make a delay to make sure the game session is activated enough. So let's try it again. So actually we just created a game session, so the next time it will not gonna be it's not gonna create a game session. It will just create a player session to the first game session that we searched right here. So let's click play. So we join the server and we go right here. Here is one player session. I'll click it. You see this player session, this ID start with this. It means that this is a player session ID. So because we just did what we did. Uh, Wait a second. If we refresh, my editor is ended. So my player will quit from the server. So the statue is going to be changed. See completely. Why this is activate and completely is very different from the last video. I will show you because we did several change. We change the player controller. So if we actually if we accept player session, then our player session are going to be activated. If we remove a player session, then my player session is going to be completely. So it's very easy. And now I will try it again. So now I'm connecting. Now I join the server. So my player session first is gonna be reserved, and now it will run the accept. It will run now when I join this map. It will run the accept player session, and so my player session. If I refresh, there's new player IDs is gonna be activated. So if stop, then my player leave. It will call the end player in this server. It will call this. So the server it will remove player session. So if I refresh the page, the player statue is going to be completely.